deliver consistent high purity compost food.
Well, what a great way to start off a drilling program, and what a fantastic way to start off 2023 with some of the best intervals of rare earth mineralisation I can remember in my history in the rare earth space in the last 24 years. And if I try and look back through history, it's very hard to replicate what we've achieved in these holes initially. So the first hole is 110 metres. It was designed to go there, have a diamond tail on the end of it. We've achieved an average of 2.9% over that entire 110 metre interval. Absolutely nothing is unmineralised. All mineralised material from surface to the bottom of the hole. And with the diamond tail, we hope to tap into some further mineralisation that we suspect is higher grade from our historical works programs back in the 70s and 80s, that data that we can see. The most enlightening part of those assay results is not just the rare earth grade. We have a neodymium to praseodymium ratio, which averages 21%, which is particularly good for the battery market, the magnet market within the rare earth industry. We have thorium and uranium levels, which definitely classify this as non-radioactive. We have a dose meter on site, which was measuring the radiation, which we understood was non-radioactive. And the assays help us now validate that dose meter rateage with an actual assay. So the total uranium content is on average less than 5 ppm per tonne. And thorium is less than 50 ppm per interval of assay. So it definitely means this material is non-radioactive. So just to reiterate, mineralisation from surface, it starts off at 4%, ends up at 3.8, averages 2.9, non-radioactive NdPr ratio of 21. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a stunning result. So the first drill hole is orientated to the northeast. The second hole is orientated to the west. Are both angle holes. And so there's a fair degree of intervals of like about 100 metre strike length from the bottom of each hole to each one. So we're now very confident that mineralisation has a broad spectrum of mineralisation. And it's validating what we thought at the moment, very early in the stage, was that the carbonatite intrusive is entirely mineralised. So that's what we hope to see in the next round of drill holes, which are all through that carbonatite complex. I'm getting a lot more confidence that this is going to be one of the most significant, or if not the most significant, rare earth projects in the world. Non-radioactive, great grades. And what will turn up in the next 3 to 6 months is all our metallurgical test work programs that I hope justifies the fact that we've got great metallurgical recovery with an absolutely fantastic concentrate grade. So I am elated. I don't know if there's anything similar. I can't tell you. I can tell you one that's got higher grade, which is Mountain Pass, a lake sediment sitting on a carbonatite, which is Mount Weld, both radioactive, different NdPr ratios. They're the closest corollary I think there might be. There might be one in Russia. It's called Tomtor, but I know it's metallurgically almost impossible to recover the rare earth in that project. So I'd have to say at this stage that Kangankundi is a standout and a singular most significant global resource. I think it's going to have immense tonnage. It's going to have fantastic grade, and its non-radioactive content means that it is going to be the premier project when you're looking at something that has such a low environmental footprint, feeding industries of commodities into zero carbon abatement strategy technology. It has to be out there as the premier project in early stages of development. I can tell you that the dose meter, which is measuring radiation on site, is consistent in every drill hole we're seeing so far, which means it's basically no more radioactive than background radiation. And so we can now use that ratio of the deuce meter in the first holes with those assays to make a reference of what we think is going to come in the future programs, assay results out of the drill holes. And I'd say it's almost certain. I 99.99% guarantee that the rest of the drill holes data will be non-radioactive as well. So that means that we're looking at a singular complex of mineralization with a non-radioactive signature. So what does that mean commercially? One, it allows us to actually produce a mineral concentrate and market a mineral concentrate globally to some of the toughest environments for radioactive importation. So, for example, Europe and USA have particularly strong legislation around the importation of radioactive materials. This would almost certainly mean that because we'll probably produce a non-radioactive concentrate, be able to market a concentrate. And that lowers our capital, it lowers our technical risk, and it allows leverage these organisations to grow sustainably over a progressive, structured technical development program. So we could go into separation later in life once we've got the balance sheet and we build up the corporate capability. But it means we don't have to go into separation very early stage. So our capital costs will be significantly lower, and we'll be making some great margins on concentrate sales before we go into future development. So there's other things that you don't think about when you've got non-radioactive materials. It actually reduces your risk profile, both from an occupation health and safety program, obviously, because you don't need a radiation management plan like you would with most other rare earth projects, and monitoring. But it also has implications around the cost of transportation, for example. It's our general goods to transport the concentrate rather than a Class 7 goods, which can be exceedingly expensive. It may well even sort of reduce your insurance policy premiums because you're now dealing with a lower risk operational environment. So there's many complex scenarios that goes into the fact that we'll have a non-radioactive substance. Apart from the fact, this material is the key material to carbon abatement strategy, so environmentally friendly technology. What better project would you have, the one that doesn't have radiation? What a fantastic outcome. The crew will start back on site on the 8th, and drilling's due to commence on the 10th with 3 drill rigs. We have about 4,000 samples sitting in the pipeline at the moment, ready to be prepared or assayed in final stages. So I would expect significant news flow, both right through every week, I would hope, between January and February. So there's going to be continuous news flow, as I say, from each drill hole, and there's lots on its way. We've also got a 1-ton sample currently being dispatched out of Malawi. They'll go through quarantine in Australia before we start our metallurgical test work on that product, and then we'll be able to publish also what our recoveries and what the concentrate looks like. So that then precipitates into what we see as being on target for a second quarter resource statement of some sort, including metallurgical test work results. I started in this organisation the 8th of August. We got shareholder approval to commence the acquisition of the project on the 29th of September. We started on the 16th of October drilling. We started the program for preparation of drilling on the 16th of October, and late October we were drilling. I think now I can actually talk to all those institutions and all those other organisations about what I saw from a technical perspective and historical perspective, or the records I saw of what I thought was going to actually be presented. I can now show them the data. So this is now the time of engagement in the industry to show that this project, I think, is going to have significant size, of significant grade, of great recovery, of non-radioactive material feeding the zero carbon abatement strategy product. And the other thing is, if this concentrate grade we can prove is a 60% concentrate grade, that in itself has a significant impact on the feed rates that go into downstream processing facilities in terms of their capital utilisation and their productivity. So I think this first quarter will be a particularly interesting quarter for the engagement on the rare earth industry.